All right, so get ready because we're going deep today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be diving into the Quran and modern science.
Ooh, that's a fascinating one.
It is. And our source material for this is a podcast called
Okay.
Hidden Miracles of the Quran, Latest Discoveries You Won't Believe.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I like it already.
yeah, right. Catchy title.
But, of course, we're going to approach all of this with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Of course.
And really dive into some of the connections that they're trying to draw between the Quran and modern science.
Right.
So they start off by talking about dark matter.
Okay.
And they highlight this verse from Surah Yasin that talks about how, like, celestial bodies move in a synchronized orbit. The sun can't catch up to the moon, and night and day never overlap.
Right.
And they're saying that this could be interpreted as foreshadowing the concept of dark matter.
Interesting.
What do you think about that?
Well, first off, what is dark matter?
So, it's this elusive substance that makes up a significant portion of the universe.
Right, like the majority of it.
Yeah, about 85% of the matter in the universe.
Wow.
And the thing is, it doesn't interact with light, so it's incredibly difficult to detect directly.
Oh, so we don't even know if it's really there.
Well, we know it's there because of its effects.
Got it.
So we can see how it affects gravity
Okay.
on things that we can see, like stars and galaxies.
So it's like this scaffolding almost.
Exactly. It's holding everything together.
Wow.
And you can't even see it.
That's pretty wild.
It is, and it's puzzled scientists for decades.
Right.
So when you think about that Quran verse in that context, it doesn't necessarily explain dark matter,
Right.
but it does raise some interesting questions. Like, could it be that ancient civilizations were aware of some unseen force that was governing the cosmos, even without all the fancy equipment that we have today?
Right. Yeah, because they didn't have any of that stuff back then.
No.
Makes you wonder what other hidden insights might be in these ancient texts,
Absolutely.
waiting to be rediscovered in light of what we know now.
Yeah. And I think it's all about kind of exploring those connections and seeing where they lead us.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the vastness of space with dark matter.
Right.
What about the human brain? They talk about that too.
You do.
Specifically the prefrontal cortex.
Interesting.
They bring up this verse from Surah Al-Alaq that mentions the forelock.
Okay.
And they suggest this could be an allusion to the prefrontal cortex and its role in, decision-making, morality, and even deception.
So how does the verse go?
It says, no. If he does not desist, we will surely drag him by the forelock. A lying, sinning forelock.
A lying, sinning forelock.
Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating because modern neuroscience shows how important the prefrontal cortex is for all those things you just mentioned.
Right.
It's all about controlling impulses, planning, making judgments about right and wrong.
It's like the control center. Yeah, exactly. It's like the executive control center of our brain.
Wow.
So it does make you wonder.
Right. Like, are we really supposed to believe that the Quran had this super scientific understanding of neural anatomy centuries ago?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily about taking it literally.
Okay.
Remember, religious texts often use symbolism and metaphor.
Right.
So the forelock in this verse could be a symbolic representation of our decision-making capacity. That part of us that's held accountable for our actions.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about the literal anatomy, but the deeper meaning.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that area of the brain, whatever they called it back then,
Right.
plays this crucial role in our moral compass.
Absolutely.
And our ability to make choices.
Yeah, and that's relevant, whether you're looking at it from a religious perspective or a scientific one.
Totally. Okay, so we've got the vastness of space. We've got the complexities of the human brain.
What's next?
What's next? How about iron rain on other planets?
Wait, you heard me right?
Iron rain.
Iron rain.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The podcast brings up a verse from Surah Al-Hadid,
Which means?
which translates to the iron.
Okay.
And the verse says, "And we sent down iron, wherein is great military might and benefits for the people."
Interesting.
They link this to the recent discovery of exoplanets,
Okay.
with surfaces made entirely of molten iron.
Whoa, hold on.
I know, right?
So there are planets out there made of molten iron.
It seems so.
That's wild.
It is, and they actually have this iron rain.
Okay, how does that even work?
So there's this one example, WSP-76b.
Okay.
It's this gas giant,
Uh-huh.
and it's tidally locked to its star.
So one side is always facing the star.
Exactly. And so
Okay.
that side gets super hot,
Right.
and the other side's always in darkness.
Okay.
And that temperature difference is so extreme that it actually vaporizes the iron
Whoa.
on the day side.
So it's like iron gas.
Yeah, basically. And then it forms these iron vapor clouds.
Iron vapor clouds.
And as those clouds drift to the cooler night side,
yeah,
they cool down and condense, and you get iron rain.
Molten iron rain.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is. So the Quran mentioning iron being sent down kind of takes on a whole new meaning when you think about these planets.
It does.
Do you think these kinds of scientific discoveries can like add a new dimension to our understanding of religious texts?
I think it can enrich our perspective for sure.
Okay.
It's not about proving or disproving anything.
Right.
It's about opening up new avenues for interpretation.
Okay.
Because the Quran, like many ancient texts, often uses natural phenomena as metaphors and symbols.
That's a good point. It's not about taking everything literally, but appreciating those deeper layers of meaning.
Exactly.
That might be revealed through like modern scientific discovery.
I like that.
Yeah.
It encourages a sense of wonder about both the universe and the texts that have tried to make sense of it for centuries. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so from iron rain on other planets, we're now diving deep into the ocean.
Oh, yeah. Deep sea stuff.
Yeah. The podcast brings up this verse from Surah An-Nur that talks about, like, darknesses within an unfathomable sea, covered by waves upon waves, and then clouds on top of that. Wow. Like darkness upon darkness.
It's a pretty vivid image.
It is.
Yeah.
And they connect this to the discovery of, like, ecosystems thriving in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean.
Right, because for a long time we thought all life needed sunlight for photosynthesis. But down in those depths, life has found a different way to thrive using chemosynthesis.
So instead of energy from the sun, they're using energy from chemical reactions.
Exactly. And it all starts with these hydrothermal vents.
Hydrothermal vents.
You know, they release heat and chemicals from the Earth's interior.
Okay.
And that forms the basis for these unique ecosystems.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a completely different way of life. And it really changed how we understand where life can exist.
I mean, you think about the ocean depths.
Yeah.
Darkness, crushing pressure.
Right.
Freezing temperatures.
It doesn't sound very hospitable.
Not at all.
But life finds a way.
It really does.
And there's so much diversity down there. It's incredible.
What kind of things are we talking about?
Oh, you know, giant tube worms.
Yeah, hey.
Bioluminescent jellyfish.
Oh, wow.
Strange anglerfish with those glowing lures.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
It's like another world down there.
It really is. And the Quran's description of this layered, dark ocean, it almost feels like it's describing what we know now.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
It is.
Written centuries ago, capturing this sense of mystery and darkness.
That we now know exists in the depths of our oceans.
Exactly.
Okay, shifting gears again.
Okay, where are we going now?
Let's talk about bees.
Bees, all right.
The podcast highlights a connection between the Quran's verses about bees and the bee algorithm.
The bee algorithm?
Yeah, in computer science.
Interesting. So are you familiar with the bee algorithm?
A little bit. I know it has something to do with how bees search for food.
Yeah, they're incredibly efficient at it.
Right, and building those intricate honeycombs.
It's amazing, and computer scientists have been studying them to develop algorithms that can solve complex problems.
So how does that work? Like, how can bees teach us about computer science?
Well, it all comes down to the way they search for nectar.
Okay.
So they send out these scout bees to explore different areas.
Right.
And when a scout finds a good source, it goes back to the hive and does this special waggle dance.
Oh, yeah, the waggle dance. I've seen videos of that.
Yeah, it's like a little dance.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And it tells the other bees where to find the food.
So it communicates the direction and distance.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's a really efficient system.
That's amazing.
And the Quran actually talks about bees receiving divine inspiration.
Really?
Yeah.
To build their homes and follow specific paths?
Yeah, Surah An-Nur talks about it.
What does it say?
It says something like, take for yourself among the mountains houses and among the trees and in that which they construct. And to eat from all the fruits and follow the ways of your Lord laid down for you.
Wow. So it's recognizing this inherent intelligence and guidance within nature.
You could say that.
And now scientists are trying to replicate that intelligence in computers.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
Okay, so we've gone from the depths of the ocean to the world of bees.
Quite a journey.
It is. What's next on this Quran and science adventure?
Well, for our last stop, we're going to explore something a little bit controversial.
Uh-oh.
The idea of water memory.
Water memory.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I've heard the term, but I'm not really sure what it means.
It's this idea that water can retain a memory of substances that were once dissolved in it.
Okay.
Even after they're diluted.
So, like, even if the substance is gone,
yeah,
the water still remembers it.
That's the idea.
That's kind of freaky.
It is.
And the podcast connects this to the Quran's emphasis on water as the source of life.
Right, because the Quran says...
What does it say?
And we made from water every living thing.
Oh, wow. So if water does have this memory...
Yeah.
It could really change how we think about its role in life.
It could give a whole new meaning to those words.
That is pretty mind-blowing. Is there any actual evidence to support this?
It's a really debated topic in the scientific community.
Okay.
Some studies have shown that even highly diluted solutions can still have biological effects.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird because theoretically the original substance shouldn't even be there anymore.
Right.
So some researchers think that means the water must be retaining some information.
Interesting.
But it's still very controversial.
Okay.
A lot of scientists are skeptical.
I can see why.
Yeah, it definitely needs more research.
So, wow, that was a lot.
It was.
We covered some pretty interesting stuff.
We did.
Dark matter, the human brain, iron rain on other planets.
Deep sea creatures. Bees.
Yeah, bees' water memory.
It seems like everywhere you look, there's a potential connection.
I know, right?
Between the Quran and modern science.
Makes you think about these ancient texts.
Yeah.
Like there's more to them than we might realize.
Absolutely. I think it challenges us.
Yeah?
To look at both science and religion with fresh eyes.
It's not about being right or wrong.
No.
It's about being curious.
Exactly.
And open to new ideas.
Yeah, and I think whether you're coming at this from a place of faith or scientific skepticism or somewhere in between, there's something here for everyone.
It really makes you think.
It does.
About the deeper meaning that might be hidden in these texts.
Yeah.
And how our understanding of the universe can unlock those meanings.
And maybe it goes the other way, too.
What do you mean?
Maybe these ancient texts can help us see science in a new light.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like a two-way street. They can inform and enrich each other.
I like that.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening out there, what do you think?
What are your thoughts on all this?
Do these connections resonate with you?
And what other ancient texts might hold similar insights?
It's a big world out there.
Yes.
Full of mysteries and connections waiting to be discovered.
So keep asking questions.
Yeah.
Stay curious.
And who knows what you might find.
That's what this is all about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
On this deep dive into the Quran and modern science.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.